وسهلا بكل الذين ينضموا للاستماع إلى راديو بلدي أول راديو عربي أمريكي ويعنى بقضايا العرب في المهجر. برامجنا في راديو بلدي كل يوم جمعة من 8 وحتى 9 صباحا مع ليلى الحسيني في بث حي ومباشر وعبر WNZK راديو 690 AM. صباح الخير بلدي، صباح الخير لكل مستمعينا.
Welcome to Radio Baladi, the first Arab, Middle Eastern, and American simulcast radio show. Radio Baladi is broadcast every Friday morning on WNZK 690 AM from 8 until 9 Eastern Time on Good Morning Michigan with Layla Al-Husseini. Our call-in number 248-557-3300. And now, stay tuned for the best radio talk show on Arab and American issues with your host, Layla Al-Husseini.
Good morning, and thank you for being with us. This is Khalil Hachem, editor of wnzk.com, the source of digital business news and information in the Arab American communities in Michigan. We provide real estate, mortgage news, financial news, support for small businesses, recipes, and much more. Visit us on wnmichigan.com. Today is Friday, July 16, 2021. We have a rainy day today. The temperature is in the 70s, which is very good. Hopefully we don't get a lot of rain. We don't want to repeat what happened 10 days ago. Hope you are doing well. The number here is 248-557-3300. Give us a call should you have a question or comment about what's going on in our community or your community. And give us a call in Arabic or in English. We'll be more happy to talk to you, get your comments, and answer your questions. As you well know, the race for mayor in the Dearborn area is heating up, and we have 7 contenders trying to replace Jack O'Reilly. Jack O'Reilly has been in office for several, maybe 10, 15, 12 years, something like that. In fact, I just learned recently that for 86 years, only 6 men have governed Dearborn. 6 men. Some of them, you know, there was I think the longest one. I'm not sure which one was the longest one that has governed in Dearborn. But we had the O'Reilly senior and junior now, and then Mr. Guido before that, and then my memory is failing me. Some of the names that we've had. Anyway. This is going to be a historic election. It's, the city is on the verge of changes. We have 2 women running for the race. As Dearborn City Council President Susan DeBaja is one of them, and an African-American candidate also is running as a woman for the race. We have 2 other Arab Americans running for the race, and then we have 3 candidates as well, and one of them is with us this morning. And as I said before, we need to vote for the right person, regardless of race, color, place of origin, gender, anything else. We need the right person to vote for. And we have started talking to most of them. We invited everyone to talk to us so we can bring and acquaint you, the listeners, with who is going to be, because you're the one who's going to hire these people, okay? You're voting to hire someone to run the city. Keep that in mind. You're not voting for someone because you like his hair, you like his, whatever it is, his family. No, you're voting to hire someone. So it doesn't matter what his name is, where he comes from, that or she, that person is, you're hiring that person, him or her, to run the city based on qualifications. Keep that in mind. And I'm talking to the listeners, I'm talking to the voters. And we've talked to a few, a couple weeks ago. Today we're going to talk with us is Tom Tafelski. And also next week we'll be talking to more candidates as well. Good morning, Tom, and thank you for being with us.
Mr. Hachem, good morning. Thank you for having me on WNZX 690 AM this morning. And you're right, it's a rainy, kind of gloomy morning, a nice temperature, but we don't need more rain in Dearborn. Between the horrible flooding that occurred last week or a week and a half ago and the mosquitoes that have now come out, we don't need more rain. So,
absolutely.
if I sound a little
Yeah, I
grovelly,
was outside last night, and I couldn't stay for 5 minutes in the evening because of the mosquitoes. It was unbelievable.
So one of the things I think people, and if I sound a little grovelly this morning, I had we were trying to dodge the rain last night. I had a very successful Pizza in the Park fundraiser where over 500 to 700 people, families, and neighbors showed up from all walks of life, and it was fantastic. It was Ferris and Yasser Kalkas from the Pizza Kitchen were there handing out pizzas, and I don't know how many we went through, but you can hear it in my voice. I talked to quite a few people, but we dodged the rain, and also we got out of there before the mosquitoes down at Ford Field, which looked great, even though the flood occurred a couple weeks ago. We got out of there before the mosquitoes came. And an interesting thing on that, we do have a mosquito mitigation program in the city where we go. And people have probably seen it where we call them bricks, but they're little white tablets in a sense, and they're about the size of a small stapler, okay? And we shoot those in the catch basins. And we go down each street and we put them in the catch basins. Well, with all this rain, what's happened is those have basically dissolved or been dislodged, and they have just, this is what happens when we don't have that program, and people sometimes say, why are you spending money on something like that? Well, I think now we're seeing the results of that, so it's one of the great programs we have here in Dearborn, and we do get a grant for that, or at least we used to get a grant for that. So, But
before we get ahead of ourselves,
yes,
tell us a little bit about you, what you do, and your previous experience on the council.
Sure. Well, I'm a lifelong Dearborn resident, like many of our other candidates, and I grew up in the Fort Woods area, went to Fortson High School, and then went to the University of Michigan in Ann Arbor, and that's where I graduated. When I came home from Ann Arbor, I met my ex-wife now, and we had three. She was from the Etzel Ford area. We have three beautiful boys that we co-parented. And they are Dearborn High graduates, or soon to be Dearborn High graduates. I have one left there. And, I started serving on the Dearborn City Council 20 years ago, and I served for 16 years up until I ran for mayor last time, and unfortunately fell up short. But I think a lot of the work and a lot of the things that I wanted to accomplish and that the city really needed, such as economic development reform, building and safety. We need to reform that and cut through the red tape there. We need traffic, in our neighborhoods, traffic enforcement in our neighborhoods. I think that's become prior to the flooding, that was the number one problem, with, speeders and high rate of speed going through the neighborhoods. People are worried about their children getting hit or just as people walk up and down the business districts, these cars going through. And that's one thing I've said I will pledge to have a dedicated traffic safety unit. And we will do that. But so I served 16 years on the city council, and City Beautiful Commission, as well as the Planning Commission. And, in your introduction, you're right. This is a very historic election. In fact, 3 families and 4 men have controlled the city's mayoral seat since World War II. And the name that you forgot was, of course, the late Mayor Orville Hubbard, who was the longest ruler
yes,
in the city.
Absolutely. I couldn't think of it this morning. Yeah.
And they called him the dictator of Dearborn, and during his tenure. Yeah. But think about that, and your listeners need to think about that. That was 3 families and 4 men since World War II. And, Hubbard, I believe, was the longest-serving mayor out of any city, municipality, township, or village in the United States. So Orville L. Hubbard brings that title of longest-serving mayor in any area, in any city, to Dearborn. So,
Absolutely.
being on the Dearborn
City
Council.
What's the main issue, Tom? What's the main issue that really needs to be addressed immediately?
I think the immediate is a comprehensive overhaul of our departments. We have people that have been there too long. We have good talent in the city that understand what needs to happen and how we make some changes. Again, traffic enforcement, taxes. We got to look at the overspending and the frivolous spending. I was against the project to move the current Dearborn City Hall from our old City Hall at Michigan and Schaefer. And of course, we know that's a beautiful historic landmark. It cost the city millions and millions of dollars to move down to this new building, which is what's called a stick-built building that has a useful life of 25 to 30 years, which we're kind of nearing, and that's why we're putting some repairs in there. But frivolous spending by the current administration and by the powers that have be in the city, that's really, we got to get that under wraps. We got to make sure that every tax dollar is working for everyone in the city, not just certain areas, not just certain people, but every resident of the city of Dearborn. And I touch or have touched every area of the city. I understand all aspects of the city, whether it's the north end, the west end, the east end, or the south end. I understand and, pledge to make sure that everybody has a voice in my office. I will not be an absentee mayor. You will see me around. We will have office days where people can come up and I will be accessible. We will have the right liaisons and the right department heads from every area of the city so that people understand that they have a voice, maybe not from a representative standpoint, an elected standpoint, but from a department head standpoint that has direct access to programming and to the mayor. So, and we need to rebrand and re-image the city of Dearborn. We need to let people know and businesses know we are welcoming, we are open for business, we are going to cut through, allow the red tape to be removed so that if somebody wants to come into Dearborn for business, they can, and we will welcome that. Yeah. Same if you want to build a house or you want to expand a house, we're going to cut through that red tape.
Yeah. Tom, you got 1 minute. Tell me, why should people vote for you?
Well, I think people have to look at the candidates, and like you said in your intro, it's not about, I like this person, I know this person's from here. It's about the experience. And, I can walk in on day one, and I can get things done, and I will get things done. And, I have served on city council for 16 years. It was a part-time job. People can say, oh, you're a career politician. That's not the case. These are part-time jobs. It's $84 a meeting. You know what? I've been a financial planner for a couple of decades, and I understand the business side of things. So the partnership between the public-private partnership, my time on city council, my knowledge of the city, I'll be able to come in day one, and I'll be able to make things happen in a positive way for the city of Dearborn. So I ask the voters and your listeners on August 3rd, I ask for your support. My name's Tom Tafelski. If you want to go to tomfordearborn.org, that's tomfordearborn.org. They can learn all about me, see the videos I've posted, and all the information we have there. So I hope to earn their support on August 3rd.
Absolutely. It has been a pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much for taking the time. Good luck to you. We'll talk to you more, inshallah.
Mr. Hachem, thank you for having me on 690 AM WNZX, and have a great day.
Thanks a lot. Thank you. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back. Please stay tuned.
Now getting your COVID-19 shot gives you a shot to win. Anyone in Michigan 18 and older vaccinated between December 1st, 2020 and July 30th, 2021 is now eligible to win millions in cash prizes, including $1 million jackpots and $50,000 daily prizes. And vaccinated students could win thousands in college scholarships. Get eligibility details and enter at mishottowin.com. Subject to sweepstakes rules. Scholarships available for ages 12 to 17.
Life is a nonprofit charity that's provided humanitarian aid and development to people and communities for over 25 years, regardless of race, color, religion, or cultural background. When disaster occurs here or around the world, Life for Relief and Development rushes in to provide food, medical aid, and shelter to those in need. Please help improve these efforts. Make your tax-deductible donation to Life now at lifeusa.org or call 248-424-7493.
While we've been staying safe at home, scientists have been on a journey. The destination? A COVID-19 vaccine. This journey began decades ago with research into other coronaviruses. Scientists built from there with months of research and development, cooperation with other experts worldwide, and clinical trials on tens of thousands of volunteers of diverse race, age, and health status. They arrived at a safe, effective vaccine, and hundreds of thousands in Michigan have already been vaccinated. But the next step is ours. We need to get the vaccine when we can. Keep wearing masks correctly and taking precautions until we reach our destination, freedom from COVID-19 and getting back to the lives we love. Discover the facts for yourself at michigan.gov/COVID vaccine. A message from the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services.
At Top Rehab Physical Therapy Clinic in Dearborn, we provide effective physical therapy sessions in order to limit pain and discomfort. Top Rehab provides physical therapy care for any diagnosis prescribed by a physician, and we regularly see and treat conditions such as stroke, TMJ, fibromyalgia, sciatica, joint pain, and more. We use a variety of pain management methods, including modalities, soft tissue mobilization, and therapeutic exercise. If you're in need of physical rehabilitation or physical therapy, get the highest quality health care at Top Rehab. Most insurance is accepted, and we're open Monday, Wednesday, and Friday 8 to 6, Tuesday and Thursday 8 to 5, and Saturday 10 till 2. Call for an appointment today at 313-846-0555. That's 313-846-0555. Choose Top Rehab Physical Therapy Clinic on Michigan Avenue in Dearborn. Life's too short to be in pain.
Welcome back, and thank you for being with us. It's been about 10 days since we had the horrible flood in our basement. I was one of the people who was affected. Luckily, I was not as affected as others. Some people lost maybe $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 worth of materials. A lot of people needed help. Catastrophes like this, we can sit down and talk about why it happened, who didn't do what they do. Right now, I want to talk about the people who really got together to help. And I like to thank and I recognize the men and women in uniform, the volunteers, and police and fire, all of these people who worked very diligently, worked very hard to keep us safe. And with us this morning is Chief Haddad. Good morning, Chief.
Good morning. It's great to be with you.
Thank you so much. And this was a tough time for the area, but the community came together to help each other. Could you tell us more about what happened and all of the work you guys did to keep us safe?
Yeah, clearly it was a real tragic rainstorm. The community, as they always do, as we always do, we came together. I would say that there was graver challenges this time than the flood in 2014. It took us, another day and a half to just clear the cars that had stopped in the main thoroughfares off the road, and we ended up towing more than 250 vehicles to open up our streets. What was exceptionally helpful this time is that the city declared an emergency on Saturday morning at 11 a.m. So we got the emergency up front. And as you mentioned in the opening, we had help coming from everywhere. We had more than a dozen communities around us that said, okay, Dearborn has a bigger problem than we do, so they sent their sanitation workers and, DPW workers here over the 4th of July weekend. We got many, private contractors to come in. They brought heavy-duty equipment. I've never seen anything like it. There was two common expressions about the rain itself. They said they've never seen rain, and they've never seen a response. So the community came up really strong on a bad situation.
Absolutely. It was again, we can talk about what the city didn't do, what this didn't do, but again, I want to recognize this time is all of the efforts that went into helping each other. And one thing I want listeners to understand: the emergency sirens. Who controls that? Who operates that?
The sirens?
Yeah, like when there's an emergency, the one that is tested on Saturday at noon, they test the sirens.
Yeah. Those are operated by the city.
Okay. Yeah. Because we had a lot of questions, people asking, why weren't these on? So we know that there's something going on, because a lot of people slept through it.
Right. Yeah. The sirens are used and identified for certain types of emergencies, and floods aren't one of them as a rule. I suppose they could have been. They could have been set up, but I don't know what it would have meant to the community had they heard them. We did have a power outage, and I'm not sure how that impacted the system as well. But they're typically not identified for a flood, but we can certainly look at that for a future.
Absolutely. I mean, like, I was lucky that my neighbor called me when it first started, and I was able to move a lot of stuff out of the way. A lot of people slept through it. Had there been a sirens alerting people, and people really know that this sirens is for that, it may have helped them save few stuff, precious stuff. But again, the community came together incredibly. I saw you on social media all over the place, and I'm sure you didn't sleep that night trying to make sure, tell us do you live in the city, Chief?
I do. I live in an apartment building in the East End, and although I live on the 9th floor, we were not spared from the storm because the ceilings in the hallways came down with the rain. So, I live here, and I had firsthand. It's in the East End, and I saw the damage early on. And a lot of people didn't sleep, Mr. Hachem. A lot of people came to help, and it was really incredible. It was a well-organized effort. Police and fire and DPW worked very seamlessly. There's no big, mean, little you. We all worked as a team. We systematically went through every block. We wanted to make sure, first of all, that people were safe, and then whatever help we could render to make sure that we got the debris that was already wet and soiled in the basements out quickly, because that poses a serious health hazard.
Absolutely. I saw a lot of policemen on Saturday. Is that one of the days where you call everybody in? Is that what happened?
Yeah, we did call a lot of people in, but we also had an operation plan for Saturday, and it wasn't for the rain. So we had people already here, which was, a blessing. And we did call people in right away to make sure we could do two things: continue to answer any calls for service uninterrupted, and also mitigate the storm that was still pounding us.
Absolutely. What impressed you the most when you saw all of these people helping each other?
The spirit of the Dearborn community, I always tell people it's so different, it's so unique, and I would never take it for granted, because it's not like that all over the country or all over the world. The spirit of the people, they were hurting. Some were obviously disappointed and angry that this has happened a second or third time to them. But, they were relentless. And what I was most impressed when we picked up the debris the first time through, you go back down the streets, and people were trying to cut their lawns, make their houses look as presentable as possible, and they were still helping their neighbors, the elderly neighbors, to get things out of their own basements or garages. So the spirit of our people is just something tremendous that I, for one, would never take for granted, because it's very special.
Absolutely. Chief, I noticed something, and some people may not be happy with the response, but in general, the city of Dearborn did pretty good picking up the trash. I mean, I still go through communities where it was hit by the flood, and it's still out there on the curb. I think within a short time to pick up all that massive amount of material is incredible.
Yes, unfortunately, many cities still haven't had the first round picked up, and I drove through last night just to check, and more than not, they just have black plastic bags at the curbsides now, which means they're down to the little stuff and, tearing out the drywall and other debris that could be handled. So, yeah, we don't have those massive amounts of furniture anymore, heavy appliances. For the most part, you might find one or two, but for the most part, we're in the third wave of cleanup, and this weekend we have another a slated operation to go through the entire city and clean it up again. And, our citizens deserve that. They deserve that. They demand that, and they pay their taxes, and they support the city. So I'm very proud to be part of that effort.
Absolutely. If somebody needs help, who they can call? Like, they still need help moving stuff out of their basement or anything like that?
They can go on the city website, and they can sign up. City website, or they can call DPW. There's, again, a number on the city website. We do have a number I can give you right now. We have a group called, we got a group called Samaritan's Purse, U.S. Disaster Relief, and we've given them all the ones that we've had, up to about 110 people, but they can call this number, 313-407-4436. Let me repeat that, 313-407-4436. And there's some qualifications. It's absolutely free, but you must be the homeowner to ask for the help. And I guess we all understand that because they're the decision makers.
Sure.
And somebody will come out. Somebody will come out immediately and do an assessment on what you need there. They will assist in carrying out any trash. They'll also assist in tearing out drywall. And all reviews that we've gotten, and they're volunteers, and all reviews we've gotten have been very satisfying. So they can call that number. They'll call them back when they sign up, and they'll send out an assessor to see what type of tools and what type of equipment they need to clean the basement or garage. And their response is within a day or two. Like I said, this week we've serviced over 100 of our residents that had not gotten the help yet. So they're here. They're going to be here until next month, and they're strictly a volunteer organization from Illinois.
Yeah. What have you learned this time that, heaven forbid it happens again, that we can do better next time?
I think we've done the very best we can. My hope is that globally we figure out a better way to stop this from happening. Obviously, you mentioned earlier, if you're forewarned, you can save some very important items, but my hope would be that we can figure out what went wrong this time, and if there's a viable solution, that we, as a region and as a state, we figure that out and fix it.
Absolutely. Safety-wise, if there is a flood, you're driving a car, what should you do?
I see people going under viaducts, and I think that's the most dangerous thing you can do because a viaduct is deep. You should make sure that you can get through the water. If not, I would just get off the road, park the car if that's feasible. Obviously, drive very slow through a puddle. People are stuck under the viaduct, and you have more people follow behind them, and that's just absolutely incredible that someone would do that. Then we have to take our first responders and get them out of there to save them because water starts going into their vehicles.
Exactly.
Put
more stress on you guys.
Yeah, they tax the resources, and I understand people panic and they want to get home to their loved ones, but if you can't make it safely, you should try to figure it out. Call ahead, check with the radio stations. Just be a little patient and try not to become part of the problem.
Absolutely. Is there anything I haven't asked you that people need to know to help themselves?
We're currently working with FEMA, and they're going to come out with a criteria on how to report and make claims. We're going to do that in 2 or 3 different languages to make sure that all of our residents are aware on how to do that. So once we get, the criteria, the rules for making claims. We're going to make sure we share that with our entire community. So as a community, we should be looking for that. I understand that Debbie Dingle and the mayor and others are going to have a town hall meeting and bring FEMA in so they can explain. And certainly we'll publicize that across all of our social media and public media access to make sure that citizens get the information. And that would be the next step, to
Wonderful.
make sure that our citizens are given access to make claims for the damage. And the president, as everyone knows, declared our entire area an emergency yesterday. So the next part will be to make the claims and the justifications. Citizens should make sure that they've taken good photographs if they have, keep receipts, and be able to articulate, the damage to their basements and what was stored down there that they've lost. And they can start thinking about that now, because obviously the stuff is gone. So think about that. Make a list of what you had stored in your basement. And if you got bills or photographs of the damage, that would be very helpful.
Wonderful. Chief, as always, we appreciate you taking the time. Thank you for everything you do to keep us safe. And we appreciate you being with us.
Thank you. Have a great weekend.
You too. Going to take a short break. Please stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Ready for an amazing experience at Ishtar Restaurant on 15 Mile Road in Sterling Heights. Enjoy excellent hospitality from owners Ali Al-Baghdadi and Fatty Bonham, serving the best in Mediterranean food. Try Chef Ali Al-Baghdadi's famous shawarma, the best Iraqi grills and food, and the best Arabic and international dishes. Dine in our authentic atmosphere or take out. Call 586-698-2585 or check us out on Facebook. Ishtar Restaurant practices all CDC guidelines and is open every day 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Have an amazing experience today at Ishtar Restaurant, 3625 15 Mile Road, Sterling Heights.
New Dawn Academy provides your kids with a curriculum that's rich in science, technology, engineering, and math.
We want students to really experience what problem solving looks like. What does it mean to build things together? And really working on those analytical skills is what makes New Dawn Academy's program very unique.
This school will certainly provide them with academic excellence, but also state-of-the-art buildings and inviting to students.
When it comes to reproductive medicine, IVF Michigan Fertility Centers are the recognized leaders. With locations in Bloomfield Hills and 5 other cities in Michigan and Ohio, IVF has experts in all aspects of the field. As a founding member of IVF Michigan Fertility Centers, Dr. Nicholas Shama is one of the leading reproductive endocrinologists in Michigan and Ohio. Dr. Shama has performed over 10,000 IVF cases and has helped thousands of couples fulfill their dreams of parenthood. American board certified in both obstetrics and gynecology and reproductive endocrinology and infertility, Dr. Nicholas Shama is a very caring, compassionate, expert physician that understands not only the medical but also the emotional toil of infertility on his patients. When it's time, get personalized care from Dr. Nicholas Shama at IVF Michigan Fertility Centers in Michigan and Ohio. Call toll-free 855-952-9600, 855-952-9600.
Are your hands feeling numb? Do you feel pain opening up a jar, turning a key? Are you noticing that your elbow and your shoulder are becoming stiff? Or were you recently injured in your arm? Hello, I'm Dr. Al-Majid Katranji, and at the Katranji Hand Center, which just recently opened down the street from the Somerset Mall, we can provide you with the latest in hand, wrist, elbow, and shoulder care. Visit us at www.katranjihandcenter.com to learn the latest techniques that we have to offer you, and I look forward to taking care of you.
Visit us in Troy at 1565 West Big Beaver Road, Building F, or call Katranji Hand Center for an appointment at 248-869-4263. That's 248-869-4263.
Welcome back, and thank you for being with us. This is Khalil Hachem. So far, we've talked to Tom Tafelski, who's running for mayor in Dearborn, and we also talked to Chief Haddad about the response to the flood that we've had, and this is an important issue. The amount of damage was massive. I mean, I remember 2014; it was bad, but it was not this bad. What's really amazes me is the fact that I talked to the city engineer because I've been researching what can I do, a device that I can install in my basement that would help me prevent this or minimize it or something like that. And there are a variety of different ways, and I'm still doing research. And in the process, I talked to the city engineers and talked to them, and they wanted to understand: is this a pressure issue? Is this a leveling issue? You know, what do we need to do? And then some of the information that came out from the city is that we only have 2 pumping stations in East Dearborn, and we have 13 some kind of stations in West Dearborn. I don't understand why that happened and why it was not addressed. We reached out to the mayor, to the public information, and they did not really respond. And we're not the only one they didn't respond to. They didn't respond to anybody. So we really don't know what's going on in there. And, you know, somebody needs to answer these questions. It's not an East-West issue. I think it's an issue of incompetence. It's an issue of lack of planning. It's an issue of corruption, basically. Corruption doesn't mean somebody is stealing money. Corruption is when somebody is sitting in an office and doesn't really do what they need to do. Somebody inherited this office because, you know, his father was in that office, or his name is on the ballot so many times, and you know, people really vote for him because of recognition. And you know, this is very important. It's who you vote for, and you know, and this is what's going on August 3rd. This is the time for you to select the people who are going to do things for you, who are going to represent you, and you know, don't forget to vote for the right person. Again, it does not matter what their name sounds like, where they come from, what family they're from, what town they're from, because we do that a lot in our community. So what's really important is we select the right person. You know, that's $100 and so million budget there. It's for streets, it's for police, it's for, you know, it's for public safety, it's for fire, it's for roads, it's for these things like this. You need somebody who is planning. In my opinion, from my experience as a reporter for many, many years and covering cities in 3 states, the form of government we have in Dearborn is not a form of government that's conducive for for really good governing, you know. And then we can talk about that a lot more. Dearborn is not the only city that is having election. Also, right next to us is Dearborn Heights is having election, and we have 3 people running for office there. You know, Mayor Bill Bazzi, who was appointed to that term to finish the term after Mr. Paletzko passed away. And then we have the 2 other candidates, and one of them is with us today, which is Miss Denise Maxwell. Good morning, Miss Maxwell. Hello?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now. How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Wonderful. Thank you so much for being with us this morning. And again, we're talking about the election and the mayoral election and how important it is for people to vote on August 3rd and vote for the right person. And you're one of the candidates for mayor. Please tell us who you are, what you do, and why should people vote for you.
Well, my name is Denise Malinowski Maxwell. I'm retired from AT&T. I graduated from Madonna University with a major in business management. I also am a retired licensed real estate agent. I am very active in the community. I do a lot of volunteer work. I do the Ecorse Creek cleanup. I do Meals on Wheels, delivering meals to the elderly who are not able to get out and get food, and many others, too many to just name off. Me, personally...
Keeping you busy, huh?
Oh, yeah. Well, after I retired, I had to do something. I needed to keep going. I didn't want to just stop. So it gave me more time. I volunteered my whole life in the community, and with AT&T, they did encourage us, to do Habitat for Humanity and anything we could for the community. So I continued on after I retired.
How long have you been on council?
Council, I'm going into my 4th year, and I'm the council chairwoman.
Okay.
Is there anything you'd like to know about me?
Yeah, it's whatever we can acquaint the voters with who they're going to be voting for, and you've been involved. Yeah, you've been involved with that city. What do you think some of the most important issues that are important to the city right now, Dearborn Heights?
Sure. Before I go into that, I will let you know I have lived in the city since I was 2 years old, so I've seen it change over the years. There are good changes. Some changes could have been better, but for me, I think public safety is important. I will work with the police and fire department to make sure that they have the most up-to-date training and equipment to ensure the safety of our residents. Ecorse Creek flooding seems to be a problem too. I will continue working to alleviate the flooding problems associated with Ecorse Creek. Also, too, Warren Valley. Warren Valley is our biggest floodplain. If we did not have that, there would have been a lot more houses flooding at the north end than did. And personally, my basement flooded too, so I understand it. I will maintain it as a golf course to protect our homes from flooding, to keep our house values up. It's hard to sell a house that floods, and we need to take care of that and find a solution. Unfortunately, with this last rain, I don't think anything would have helped. It just came too fast.
Yeah. Now, when it comes to the Ecorse area, what can be done to help that area when it comes to flood?
Well, I do believe that dredging would first of all help it. I don't even remember it ever being dredged since I was a child. I had family that lived right on the creek, and they also flooded way back in the 60s and 70s. So I think possibly widening it. We did tear out a lot of houses on one side, and I do believe there is something we could do with that property to help with the Ecorse Creek flooding.
Okay. So the problem there is the creek, is that correct?
Right. And, we can only do so much. Once it goes downstream to Wayne County, if Wayne County's backed up, then we back up. There's not much we can do. And I do believe that's what happened with the last rainfall is in Wayne County, where it goes, it was backed up. And there's nothing we can do at that point.
Absolutely. So you're saying this has to be more like a regional effort, cooperation?
I believe so. At that time when the rain began, everybody, all the communities were dumping into the Wayne County Interceptor. And if that backs up, there's nothing we can do. We're at the mercy of that. That's the one that's the end result. So,
there has been a lot of allegations
Go ahead.
There's been a lot of allegations in the city of Dearborn Heights, like a couple of years ago or so, about mismanagement of funds and things like that. And this is, I don't know whether they're proven correct or not. Has there been any investigation into that? Do we know what's going on, and what can be done to really avoid that?
Sure. We have currently handed over all the records necessary to do a forensic audit, and they are in the process of doing that. Even though Mayor Palacco has passed away, it's still good business to do an audit every so often by an outside firm to just keep things on the up and up.
Absolutely. Why should people vote for you?
Why should they vote for me? Because I care about this community. This is my city. I've grown up in it, and I do take pride in it. I always have. I have a lot of family, friends, and residents who I've become friends with over the years. I feel it's more like a personal community to me. I have, like I said, I've been involved in a lot of the activities in the community, especially volunteering. Matter of fact, today I am getting ready to go on a trip with the seniors, which I have done long before I was on city council. This is my community. I just love it, and I don't want to see anything bad happen to it. It's in my best interest for the residents.
Absolutely. Is there anything I haven't asked you that people need to know?
I'm not so sure. No, because a lot of people know me. I've been in the community, like I said, my entire life. I'm a graduate of Crestwood High School. I belong to the VFW. I belong to the Post-American Legion. I am a parishioner at the local church, and also, too, I belong to the Polish League of American Veterans. Is there anything I didn't tell you about myself that you think you need to know?
Well, I think, what's important for the voters to know is, they're going to select a mayor who's going to run the city and make decisions on their, although the council makes the decisions on the money, but also the execution by the mayor. And, this is what people really need to know when they're selecting that leader for the city, is where is that leader going to take them. And we appreciate all the work you do and you've been very busy volunteering and all of that. So we just wanted to acquaint the voters. And I don't live in the city of Dearborn Heights. This is more for the voters of the city of Dearborn Heights, so they'll know, who you are and why they should vote for you.
Okay, well, thank you. I really appreciate that.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. We appreciate your time, and good luck to you on August 3rd.
Thank you, and you have a good day now.
You too. Thanks again.
All right.
We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back. Please stay tuned.
اللجنة الأمريكية العربية والإسلامية للعمل السياسي أمباك تدعوكم للمشاركة في الانتخابات التمهيدية في 3 أغسطس في ولاية ميشيغان. انتخبوا المرشحين الذين تدعمهم أمباك في انتخابات مدينة ديربون: سوزان دباجة لعمدة مدينة ديربون، ومرشحي المجلس البلدي لمدينة ديربون: كمال القادري، سعيد العواضي، خضر فرحات، مايك سرعيني، لسام لقمان، ليزلي هربك، وخليل عثمان. للاطلاع على بقية المرشحين المدعومين من أمباك تفضلوا بزيارة أمباك michigan.org. صوتوا بنعم للمقترح الأول والذي يقضي بإعادة النظر في دستور المدينة. صوتوا بالبريدة وشخصيا في مقر البلدية من الآن وحتى موعد يوم الانتخابات في 3 أغسطس. انتخب وشجع أصدقائك على الانتخاب. صوتنا قوتنا، مستقبلنا، ويصنع الفارق. هذا الإعلان مدفوع من قبل اللجنة الأمريكية العربية والإسلامية للعمل السياسي أمباك.
Enjoy the first Syrian-style cuisine in Michigan. At Damas Cuisine and Catering, you'll find a wide selection of Syrian foods and sweets in our menu, like frikeh, hoisin, grape leaves with steak, mishawi platter, hot mahashi, char-grilled kebab, shawarma, and much more. Get super-fast delivery from Damas Cuisine and Catering right to your door. Order online at damascuisine.com/menu and track your order live. Damas Cuisine and Catering, 28841 Orchard Lake Road in Farmington Hills. Call 248-987-4985.
When you're looking for the best in optical care, Dr. Imad Nakash is your doctor to see. With years of experience and thousands of successful procedures performed, you can trust your eyes to Dr. Imad Nakash. See Dr. Imad Nakash and his professional staff for your eye care needs. There's 2 locations to serve you. In Hazel Park, call 248-336-3937. 248-336-3937. In Rochester Hills, call 248-299-3937. That's 248-299-3937.
Ziyad brand. Quality products from our family to yours. Ziyad Brothers Importing offers the finest quality products, including brands like Sultan, Kraft, Nestle, Hook, Rico Picon, Donna, and many more. Ask your retailer to carry these fine products because you deserve the very best. For more information, visit our website at www.ziyad.com. That's www.ziyad.com. Ziyad, quality products from our family to yours.
Welcome back, and thank you for being with us. Again, this is Khalil Hachem with Michigan.com. I want to thank all our guests today. I wish him good luck in the election, Tom Tafelski, and I want to thank Miss Denise Maxwell in the city of Dearborn Heights, Tom Tafelski in the city of Dearborn, and I also want to thank Chief Haddad for being with us. During I was doing some research. I don't want to sound like an expert on this, but today, with the access of the internet and the access of information right on, we can do research immediately. I was doing some research on what's the best way to avoid injuries or don't get into trouble when there is rain, there is a flood, there is, and the chief mentioned something very important, and that is, if underpass is always going to be filled with water. So if you see water and you see cars all the way to the windows, you shouldn't really get into it, And I know it happens fast, and we're eager to go. And on Saturday, when that happened, I tried to go many places. I couldn't. I just returned home. If it's not that important, it's better you stay in your car in a dry place, even if you have to sleep in it. It's not that cold, than be in water. Because some people drown on this water. So in these kind of situations. The other thing also I want to mention to you is, and the chief and I talked about this later on, which is it's important to keep safe. Okay, meaning that if you're busy in your basement, make sure your front door is locked, your side door is locked. There are a lot of bad people who want to take advantage of something like that. Make sure that your children, your pets, and all of that. One of the biggest things that people make a mistake is electrical equipment. If possible, if you can disconnect them, make sure they're disconnected. That's very important. Jerry is on the line. Good morning, Jerry.
Good morning,
Jerry,
Mr. Khalil Hachem. Good morning.
How are you?
Good morning, Mr. Khalil.
Good morning.
Hello?
Can you hear me? Yes.
Yeah, I could hear you now,
we
Mr. Khalil. Could you hear me? Yeah.
I can hear you
Mr.
loud
Khalil.
and clear. Yes, sir.
Okay. Mr. Khalil, I don't know. I heard Eid al-Adha is Monday of next week. Is it?
I believe
Eid
so.
al-Adha?
I can check for you as we were talking.
Because I just want Mr. Khalil to wish you and your family and all my friends from the Muslim community in the greater Detroit, all over the world, happy Eid al-Adha al-Mubarak. عاده الله عليكم بالخير والبركة والسعادة والصحة والعافية. شكرا. Thank you, Mr. Khalil, for taking my call.
Absolutely.
Thank you for my
Thank you, Jerry.
producer.
Thank you so much. All right.
Thank you, Khalil.
We appreciate
Bye-bye.
it. Thanks a lot from those Eid Adha wishes from Jerry, and we send our wishes also to the entire community. And this is the time of celebration of in the community. We hope that everyone is safe and everyone celebrated. And the gist of Eid Adha is to take care of the needy. So a lot of organizations are calling, to really help the needy. This is a perfect time to do that. Do not forget the needy. Do not forget the poor. And there are a lot of people who are in need, not necessarily in our community, but in other communities and overseas as well, with all the corruptions and in the Middle East and other part of the world. There are a lot of people in need, and you'll be amazed. A few dollars can go a long way. So if you trust the organizations that you're dealing with, make sure that they have the reputation for doing so, and that they are licensed to do so. So don't get in trouble with the law, and make sure your donation goes to the right people, because again, a few dollars can really go a long way. It's a time to really think about others and help others and help our community. And you don't have to go overseas to really help. You can help in this area as well. If you reach out to either your mosque, the community that you belong with, to the city, there are a lot of places where they need help. There are a lot of places they could use donations. They could use volunteering. Sharing is one of the most important things that we can do to help each other. So happy Eid to all of you. Happy Eid to everyone, and we wish you safe and happy Eid to everyone. I want to continue my thoughts earlier in regard to voting. Voting is very important. We're going to be doing more, voting segments from now until August 3rd. We want to make sure that everybody votes. When something goes wrong, everybody complains. But when it's time to make a decision who our leaders are, okay, we don't participate. The voting numbers in our community are not that high. Last time they were higher than normal, and I hope this time they're going to be high as well. But, we need to vote. We need to be active. We need to, don't listen to those who tell you your vote doesn't matter, it doesn't count. Your vote counts. Every vote counts. I can tell you several elections where they were decided by 1 or 2 votes. So every vote counts. And America is about representation. You elected the people who will represent you and who will run the city. Okay, so the city meaning they're running your money. You give them so much money every year, and it's very important. It's very important that you make the right decision. It's very important you vote for the right person. I have only 2 minutes left, and I want to talk about something else, and that is the real estate housing market. Okay, it's still very hot. This is the time to sell if you have a property that you want to sell. This is the time where you can get the most money for it. I don't know how long it would stay, but this is the time to do it. We have a lot of buyers, and give us a call. Give me a call, 313-819-0101. I'll be more than happy to talk to you about your property and what you can get for that property. We have several commercial properties on sale, and also give me a call if you're interested in a warehouse, if you're interested in a welding shop that is very successful. I have two of those. One that produces railings, and it's the building and the property and the business for sale for a reasonable price. That place is a good money-making machine. I have a major one that produces a structural steel, also that is for sale, property and business. And they both make really good money. Owners want to retire, and they want to go into make sure that business is being transferred into good hands. Give me a call, 313-819-0101. And I may be having a small warehouse in the city of Dearborn Heights on Telegraph later on this month, and we have also a small office space in Romulus in downtown. It's a great office space with a lot of parking, and it can be office, can be retail, can be anything you want it to be. It's also for sale. The number is 313-819-0101. Again, you're wondering whether to sell, give me a call. I'll be more than happy to work with you. It's a free estimate, and then we'll be more than happy to work with you. The number is 313-819-0101. Thanks for your time. Thanks for everyone who was on the show. Thanks for Mike for a great production. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend, and happy Eid. Bye now.